Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. I am the Twisted Jedi, and today I want to run you guys through some of the tips and tricks that I have figured out for the new game mode Hero Showdown. Now, Hero Showdown was added with the first part of Season 2 not long ago, and it's quite a bit different to Heroes vs Villains in terms of tactics and which heroes to use. So what I want to do is give you guys the best strategies, hero pairs, and just overall game plan heading into Hero Showdown so you can dominate next time you play. Getting started, and the first tip is super obvious, and that's if you can play with a friend. Playing with a friend allows you to party chat and communicate to each other which opponent is where or who is closing in on them, or most importantly, if they need help. Personally, myself, I have played a lot of rounds with Lethal Lightning, and we always use the party chat feature on PS4. We always know what's coming towards us, when the other one needs a hand, and when to use what abilities. The second tip I want to give you is another super obvious one, and if you play Heroes vs Villains a fair bit, you'll be used to this tip. You absolutely need to stay near your teammate. Working together is crucial, and if you go running off trying to be a mad dog and taking out both enemies, you're more than likely going to get slaughtered. Even playing as Vader, if you run off on your own against a team that's working together, they can melt you down pretty quickly, so be careful. Not only is staying close good for defensive reasons as you can help each other out, but offensively you have a much better chance of winning the round. There are certain abilities in this game mode that stack really well together and can maximize your damage output on opponents, and you can't do this if you're constantly charging out ahead. So stay together, stay with your teammate, and work as a team. Speaking of stacking abilities, this is going to be the next tip. Now, for those of you that are playing already, you may think that Finn and Lando are a bit of a weird combination. Most teams use one lightsaber wielder and one blaster hero just to stay balanced. However, Finn and Lando each have an ability that stacks really well. Now, let me give you an example. If you're playing Lando and Vader is closing in on you, a lot of the time you don't have much chance. However, Lando's disabler provides enough shock time to do about 2/3, sometimes even 3/4 of damage to Vader's health, depending on how good a shot you are. However, once the disabler wears off, Vader is most likely going to use Focus Rage, regain some health, and push you because you have nothing left to defend yourself. Well, here's what I suggest. If you stay by Finn and have him use the big deal ability right after you use your disabler, the player using Lando will receive an increased recharge time for that ability, allowing you to shock Vader twice in quick succession. With both of you shooting at him from there, it should be an easy pick-off once he is stunned, and it should become 2-on-1. Moving on to my fourth tip, and it is do not blow your loadout. If you're wondering what I mean by this, it's don't always use the strongest heroes in the first round. Remember, if you win a round, you can no longer use those heroes until the next match. So if you go out and use your best heroes right away, it may be a lot harder later in the game. I often say Vader on the dark side or Chewie on the light side for when I have 2 round wins, so I can close out the game with the strongest heroes. Usually if my opponent has used their best heroes and won rounds also, it becomes very easy for Vader or Chewie to finish off the match. Speaking of finishing off the match, that brings me to my next tip, closing out the game. If you have 2 round wins and you just need 1 more to seal victory, I suggest you use what I like to call the clutch close pair. The clutch close pair for the dark side is any combination of Vader, Kylo Ren, or Darth Maul, and for the light side it's obviously Chewie and Rey. You want to use the strongest heroes to close out the round because it's going to be ultimately what seals your victory. If you can get 2 round wins without using these heroes and your opponent has burnt their best heroes in the first couple of rounds, you now have the strongest possible lineup going into the match winning round. Chewie's stun and Rey's mind trick and damage output make for a great combo, and on the dark side, Vader's damage and Kylo's freeze have almost the same effect. If you want to close out a game when it's locked at 2 rounds apiece, then be sure to use these lineups. This next one is a tip for the villains and anyone who plays Phasma, and I'm sure you have seen this already. If you are using Phasma, then turret placement is essential. If you place a turret at the top of the stairs in the main room, not only do you have the high ground in that situation, but whenever someone tries to run up the stairs, they're going to get shocked and you can just rain down fire on them from above. Even when the turret is placed slightly to the side of the top of the stairs, players running up them won't be able to see it, and by the time they do see it, they're probably getting shocked anyway. Once this has happened, you can close in and use the staff strikes, which now has the closing effect, much like lightsaber users, and once this has been used, you can just roll out of the way and move while your opponent takes multiple shocks and a bunch of shots from your blaster. Pushing forward, this tip involves Boba Fett, or in actual fact it doesn't. I recommend avoiding Boba Fett in this game mode completely, mainly because his advantage is his jetpack. He's also super fragile and takes damage extremely easily. Jabba's palace is way too closed in for Boba to be effective. In saying this though, we will be getting 3 new maps in the near future for this game mode, so hopefully he will be more effective once those are added. On the other hand, if you are a die-hard Boba main and will use him regardless, then try to get your teammate to use Kylo Ren or Vader. If Kylo freezes or Vader chokes an enemy, Boba can wreck most opponents down to minimal health with his rocket barrage. Most of the time when Boba uses this ability, it's from the air. However, when the closed-in environment like Jabba's palace is being played, you're going to be on the ground for a lot of it. My recommendation is definitely to avoid him if you can, or just play smart and make sure your teammate knows who to use. The final tip for this video I have at the moment is the one that most people wouldn't think of, and it's to use the Rancor pit to your advantage. The Rancor pit is the perfect place to set traps such as Phasma's turrets or Bosk's proximity mines. There are also limited entrances with minimal cover, so any enemy attempting to enter it after you and your teammate is most likely going to get melted before they have a chance to even land. This also works well with freeze and choke abilities once your opponent drops in, because they won't have time to land or block it. Like I mentioned in earlier tips, you can also stack abilities together like Phasma's turrets with Bosk's proximity mines for a stun and damage combo that will even wipe out full health Chewie extremely quickly. Anyways guys, these are all the tips I have for now on Hero Showdown. As I play more and they add new maps, I will have more tips in the future as well, but for now I hope that some of these helped you guys out. If they did, then definitely drop a thumbs up and share it with your friends so you can dominate Hero Showdown together. If you have any good hero combinations that I haven't mentioned, then be sure to drop them down in the comments, as I'm interested to see what people come up with. Finally, if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more tips and tricks videos, as well as the latest Battlefront 2 news when it arrives. As always guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I am the Twisted Jedi, and may the Force be with you always.
The Sith are all powerful. You are no match for me.